what we saw out of them last series. We get to see that confident version of themselves. I think it's going to be an extremely close series, and one that might even just come down to the simple factors of like where we go for the map picks and bans and etc. Especially too, given that there is a lot of tape on both these teams back from stage 3, etc. And the fact that Winthrop University, as you called Dan, has played twice as many maps, so it might just be something we get the best form of both teams today. That Dan can just maybe come down to the slimmest of margins of just winning out that veto.
It's a bit tough in that position for Winthrop University because you can, maybe get a little bit more experience on those maps that you're strong at into like playing on stage. But also, there's a lot more info there that TSM can look at. One thing that doesn't make me too worried about that situation is that all of the teams have talked about how much they're focusing on themselves more than anything else, and it feels like once teams are fully comfortable in themselves in the game plan that they have, then they can start countering a little bit more. So I'm just wondering if TSM is at that step already, or they're just going to be doing the same thing that they did in the 2 matches that they played and really play to their strengths more than anything else.
Something I want to note as well that for TSM, I mean, they have been winning throughout this, right? But they have been decently close matches, and we have seen it come down to those 2-1s, right? Where Winthrop University, maybe we got a bad series and we got 0-2'd, right? But the confidence in their last series, I think, speaks confidence. Going into this as well, Winthrop University had previously said that this new environment, they had talked about the pressures of the crowd rooting against them. Now, going up against another North American team, it's going to be an even playing field. And Roy, just coming down to what they can ride in the server today.
And what fans they can bribe into the access to this arena, because I feel like Winthrop University has been buying their fans. So that, who knows? Maybe they have the paid actors on their side this time. Maybe the crowd will actually be a Winthrop University. But one thing I can say for sure is that both of these teams have very interesting storylines, guys. It's very different, but also very inspiring. They're all very young players. Their careers are they're going to have very long careers in this game. I feel like, but the one thing they have in common is both of these teams seem to be relaxed. They're having a great time here. They're taking in the experience. Yeah. I do feel like Winthrop University's had a little bit more, time to settle on the stage, on the environment, physically on the desks, kind of just get used to and get accustomed to things. But I mean, TSM, they haven't really been blown out on any map so far in this tournament. One of their only map losses that they've had was a very close series. And then the other one was an 11-13 versus Envy. So the two maps that they lost was one in OT and one was a 13-11. So TSM looks very consistent when it comes to, their losses, but their wins have also been very sweeping as well. So their floor has been raised significantly.
All right, heading into the map picks and bans for the series ahead, Dan, you talked about how they're looking to play their own game and going into the very first map of the series. It's going to be Ascent picked up from TSM.
I am a bit surprised that we're starting with Ascent. TSM in their opening series, this is a map that they decided to pick, but going into that match against Envy, this was actually their second ban because, when they were playing it in that opening, this is a map that they lost. So now I don't know if it's because of what we were talking about, of doing a little bit more of countering of that Winthrop University double Sentinel that was struggling quite a bit into that first half, or if it's something else. But even going into Abyss, I would favor TSM here.
I feel like the TSM pick on Ascent makes sense, despite their recent loss on that map. I still don't feel like fundamentally they're playing it incorrectly, but I feel like the kind of the plan, if you will, the footprint is already laid out by TSS, right? By Team Solid, right? Like Dejizen's, the way he dismantled Winthrop University is very easily replicatable by a player like Timotino. So I feel like the lack of information in their composition that Winthrop picked last time, it could be a huge problem for them. And I feel like if TSM, they copy that kind of idea, they get to Operator Online as quickly as possible, starve, Winthrop University of map space or information, depending on which side they're on. I feel like it could be a pretty nice, clean win here for TSM if they can get enough rounds on that attack side.
I mean, looking over the map pool as a whole, Lotus as the decider as well. When we were talking on the predictions, Roy, you were talking about how, it was TSM leaning for a reason. Now that we have the map picks and bans, do you feel like overall it's still TSM leaning, or how you feel about Winthrop heading into this?
I feel like this is a really good, I still feel like this is kind of TSM sided, to be honest. They've shown a very good Abyss. I feel like their Ascent looked good despite their only loss on it. And Lotus is going to be very interesting if we get there. I feel like that's a great map for both of these teams. I'm giving a slight edge to TSM here, guys, but I feel like this could be a very close match. It could go in any way.
All right, Dan, thoughts heading into this as well, now that we've seen a lot of these maps, for all 3 of these maps from both these teams? I think my one biggest worry with is we've seen Winthrop kind of switch things up. TSM have seemed solid, but do you think we're getting into a map 3?
I don't know. I think if TSM gets this first map, they can close it in 2, to be honest. But even going into this agent select for Ascent, this is what I wanted to look at. If there was going to be any sort of change, and there does seem to be a slight change for Winthrop University. For moves, instead of playing that Vice, is going to be with that Cypher.
Let's go.
And I'm assuming Ellie is going to continue playing the stage. So we talked about the struggles that this double Sentinel had, especially because Winthrop University, once again, they decide to start on the attack side. So this slight change, I want to see how much it can do for the squad, and also how much were they able to learn from what happened in Team Solid, and how controlled they were over and over again by DJSN and what the rest of the squad was doing there.
Yeah, I was wondering why Winthrop University would choose attack with their old composition, but I was sort of suspecting that there would be a compositional change, guys. I feel like the Cypher over the Vice is a huge buff on that attack side. The layers of cages, the layers of cameras give so much more information. It's a lot easier to not get farmed by the operator if Timotino gets going on this defensive side. Overall, I like the change for Winthrop University. I'm curious to see how many rounds they're going to get on the attack side. You don't want TSM to get that economy rolling. You do not want Timotino to get that operator online, and you most certainly do not want him to be feeling it. Let the games begin.
I mean, definitely starting at the attack half will be an interesting one, but for Winthrop University, they've talked about the confidence. We've seen the resiliency, and it's time to see, heading into the series, our first game of the playoffs, who is going to take the first mark here on Ascent between TSM and Winthrop University. It's time to head into the map and find out with your casters, Marks and Tenric.
Thanks so much, Sierra. Yeah, recent losses to Brazil's best, blemishing both of these teams' records, but now here, North America's over and underdog have come together on Ascent. As the desk mentioned, Marks, that switch from moves onto the Cypher is definitely the highlight. It's going to give Winthrop a whole lot more comfort on the attack side.
And also, I just want to point out here, I think every single time we've seen Ali play so far, he's picked Sage, because we're seeing the Sage come back out here on Ascent, and obviously, yeah, there's so many storylines that we can kind of pull out between these two squads. But of course, with how hot Winthrop University has been looking, but on the flip side, how consistently good TSM is looking, honestly, it is so hard to predict how each of these teams are going to come out of this one. And well, there's only one way to find out as we start to get loaded into the server.
Certainly a lot of tension with this match, with so much history behind it, but also you saw so much cordiality when these guys walked out on the stage. They were all excited to play each other coming into this tournament. Glad to see them get to do it here. Big meet up on the startup of B main, as both sides just going to throw a couple of logs into the fire, get things started up, and then maybe their resources.
A little bit of just a poke and a prod. Seven, the only person on that A side, but right now I think that this is just Winthrop University gauging how much space they can take, while TSM more interested in claiming a lot of space on middle. As the Winthrop mob slowly makes its way towards A, they should have a pretty easy time.
What's up, Warwick? How are you?
There is a little bit of stuff that can kind of slow them down, but honestly speaking, they should be able to get that plant off. My big eye right now is on moves.
It's a great guess by Timotino, recognizing after
He
his
did.
extension into mid, there's only one spot moves could be lurking. And that presence by him was definitely the contentious point against Team Solid. We'll see if his Cypher pick will do any more damage in the coming rounds. Until then,
Nice spot by Glyph.
UU's got 4 on the site, and Infiltrator's got upstairs.
Ooh, nice push by Infiltrator.
And from there, TSM have to recrunch from the glass. GMD and 7 able to recuperate.
Wow, late wall is huge, actually.
That barrier orbit's quickly going to get burned away, though. And 7, on that bigger health pool, is going to force Ali to overuse the resources first. As that
Okay, don't mind this.
wow, great wall for wall out from
Goes
7.
up and over.
Really make this angle a tough one, but Glyph has managed to skirt it and turns it quickly into a 2v after Guimon has elected to...
I'm doing fine.
Now just gonna smoke on top of himself.
Just chilling.
Has to beckon forward one, and he will. Glyph, right click.
Sick half.
Just one more click is all it takes, but Ali has so many options to play with.
Oh.
He's gonna take the goofiest one. Winthrop takes the pistol, and he is cheesing.
Oh man, you know, he just looked across the stage at TSM just like, yeah, that's how we're starting this one out here. Once again, like you said, like both these teams walking out with the biggest grins on their faces, a little bit of NA respect being shown to both sides there. And for this round to come down to exactly how we kind of pointed it out here, down to the wire, down to a knife. I mean, I feel like that is really setting the stage for how crazy this game is going to be. But regardless of the university, they're going to be able to take that pistol.
Oh, Ali, he's a nice guy. I'll tell you what.
You know, he didn't like stand up or gloat or anything,
no,
so you gotta give it to him.
He was so mischievous about it. He was like, I got you. Do it again. So immediately we'll head back to mid here.
Picks for today: TSM and
Deconditioned Timatino getting as braggadocious as he did as quickly.
probably TSM and Envy.
Timo will accept that graciously. He'll just hang around the back. His infiltrator will start to creep around in this market. We're just seeing what we can get away with to start, and then gonna springboard off of it, I assume.
Yeah, good protocols all the way around. Just kind of watching a lot closer. A lot of these angles of entry that Winthrop University might take. A bit of information is gone. Vora looking for that first one, but Infiltrator finds the Marshall kill. And so that makes it a lot more pressure on Alvin Boy to perform.
Yeah, I appreciate the approach by Vora. That's a good place to stick yourself in that situation. Tough for them to do anything other than dry contact you, but Infiltrator does it and is able to one-tap. Hey, okay. He'll still get a cool kill this round too.
I just realized that they full bought. Every single person bought a gun, which is interesting.
Seven will grab a bulldog, so I imagine he'll probably just hang out. Oh, especially now that he's been found by the trap wire.
All the information given up, so Seven just gonna take that and try and run away as far as he can. I mean, honestly, a really good round from Winthrop University. They split up, they play it pretty classically how you would want them to play this attack. No funky business, just no snowballs, nothing like that. Just spread out and then...
Yeah, second match should be fun. Envy versus Digizin. That was the only thing that gave me a little bit. I was like, could Digizin farm them? Yes, he could. But I think Envy just as a whole is probably going to be better.
Seven's going to try and throw off the mental a little bit here by approaching at the end of the day. So TSM will opt for that full-blown bonus. I mean, I gotta say, Winthrop already sort of trying to clean up the spots that opened them up to Team Solid in the previous matchup. I mean, they said it when going into their final round of the Swiss. They just were not playing like themselves in that matchup against the only Brazilian team that's left in this bracket. And they want to prove that they can hold a candle here. TSM is the perfect team to do it. They've been the winningest so far this tournament. They look the cleanest, the most consistent. Timatino has looked the most activated out of all of the activated duelists here. This is the blueprint for you to prove yourself once and for all.
Ooh.
That's so good, Ali.
That's nice.
Getting the call by Glyph. Let's go for it, bucko.
And this is one of the things that I've been super impressed about from Winthrop University. Since seeing them come to the Ascension stage, they've been so creative. Obviously, Ali, I think using the walls at the most opportune times are the easiest way to point it out, but it just goes to show
The team itself has 4 XT1 players. What, the Team Solid? Yeah, Team Solid has almost all Tier 1 players, former Tier 1 players on it.
And so, you know, sure, it's just a berry orb over there, but who knows where it's going to be next round.
And outside of that, they've completely waited, bit off everything intel-wise until Timatino decides to get greedy again, and then Ali wins the damage trade.
Havoc, Conan, Digizin. Forget who else is on the team.
Alvin Boy still able to stand down with the help of those cyber cages. Will get cut short, but Ali cannot meet the threat. Oh, Infiltrator able to switch off to the sidearm and take care of that.
Okay, this could get a little dangerous if they don't get in here quickly.
Governor is taking the long road to make sure there's no cutoff men, and that leads to a full-blown 2v2 with TSM still holding on to the better guns. So they'll get on a tad bit early. Timatino, once again, trying to
I guess, yeah, Conan, Havoc, and Rafa all played a little bit. Digizin obviously had some very good performances.
Has made his way back, as has Governor. Fully blown 3v3, still better guns going the way of TSM, and up we crawl. Timatino trying to find an optimized angle after the paranoia, but Infiltrator steps up to it and grabs a second.
Yeah, this is not a good start for TSM. Holy shit.
Takes this to a 1v1, able to spray it down.
Glyph is fast.
Onto that last Guardian tap, but it's a clean third by Winthrop.
And I know that we've been talking about Glyph's calling has been sharp as ever, but if you've been watching some of the Winthrop University matches, Glyph has low-key been just kind of carrying the kill feed.
I didn't realize that Glyph was IGLing.
Positions,
Interesting.
that type of stuff. Glyph has been ever so consistent when he's kind of left with not much on his team side. When it comes down to those final engagements, it always feels like Glyph has just been shooting on a dime and just finding those kills necessary. An excellent round from Winthrop University, and once again, we're seeing a lot of their shenanigans just kind of play off. This is one of the more studied teams. This is the team that is putting a little bit more time when it comes to some of the strategic depth.
Big opener from Timotino.
TSM, you always got to be watching over your shoulders for little picks like that.
Moves is always the first one you notice when you're reviewing those VODs. He's always the one that's the outlier, and so Timotino has cracked him as the easiest one to read. After that Cyber Cage extension, he just takes a couple pot shots, gets rewarded for his trouble, and Moves continues to have to play a little extra terrified. Ollie is also going to have to play for the entirety of the slowdown this time around. TSM's best shot at a round in a hot minute. And 7 looking to try to get that next moment down, but will get caught by the dimensional drift, so has to take that next checkpoint backwards, and the paranoia is chasing him down to the point where
wow, no way. No way he gets 2. That's fucking nuts. That should not be happening.
And turn this back into a 2v2. What a drift by
he wins the shorty versus Judge, and then picks up a gun and wins another duel completely by himself. I've just heard that Digizin is hard to work with.
Oh, Glyph is on one today, y'all.
That's the main thing that I've heard, is that he's hard to work with. But I don't know him, so I don't know if that's true. But it's definitely, I think it's been like the reason that's been stated several times now. TSM needs to wake up, bro.
And then Glyph just walks away with a beautiful spray transfer. Doesn't even know what's going on. Hands up. Now that is, if I've ever seen it on stage. Winthrop University are starting this one out really hot, which, if I'm being honest with you, I think that if they do win map number 1, this could potentially be a 2-0 sweep for Winthrop.
Dude. A timeout called by TSM 4 rounds in. This is the closest I've ever seen NBS to sweating this tournament. I can see the condensation forming. Winthrop is still, again, and it's like they're so still playing to their style. Like a lot of the time, it's so easy to expect what they're gonna do. They just do it so freaking well. Like, you know, Infiltrator's gonna hunt you down. You know he's gonna try and push you into the most.
Believe in NBS. He's gonna turn the ship around. What do I think of Sen's roster change and MIBR getting Zekken? Also, WU look insane. Yeah, I think TSM's a little bit sleepy to start this map. They look a little bit slow to react to stuff. As far as Sen's roster change, I think it's really just Zekken's contract is over, and he probably can get offers from literally every team in the world.
No, it's looking so clean from Winthrop University. And yes, I do think that TSM did a really good job at reading Moobs' positioning. But in these most recent matches, Moobs... honestly,
yeah, I mean, hard carry players also tend to be pretty high ego because they are really good. And so they think that they know everything. So I'm not surprised that there's some correlation with that.
And honestly, like every single round,
I mean, obviously the MIBR Zekken stuff is not confirmed, so we'll see if that actually is the case or not. But if it is, then I mean, it almost feels like Sentinels is going to go into like a little bit of a rebuild year, which would be interesting.
Can't set up an immediate trap. He'll just get the healing orb on a Timo. Reset once again.
To be honest though, like if I'm Sentinels and it looks like I need to like take a year off a little bit to not like go for titles because we've just been spending, and we want to have a little bit more of like a rebuild year, a little bit more of a less financially invested year, this would be the year to do it for them. For most teams, this is the year that you want to go all out because obviously like 2027 is the new partnership agreements and stuff like that. But for Sentinels, there is literally zero chance that Riot kicks them out. Right? There is zero chance that Sentinels loses their slot. So if they want to take a little bit of a chill year financially, to rebuild, you know, reset their sort of like base to go into the next 5 years of Valorant esports, this is a decent year to do it.
Like you can see where Glyph gets set up, and then the rest of the squad is hanging back there because they know they're probably going to come from heaven.
Do I think Sentinels needs to rebuild? I mean, I definitely don't think their team was good last year.
But of course, Ali with the Outlaw this time around has just been so impactful, finding the first kill and then cleaning up the very end.
Like their team was good enough to make events, but it was not good enough to compete for them at all.
In that 1v2 scenario, but on Winthrop University have just been once again.
You know, I wouldn't say that Zekken was the problem, but I'm sure that they had a very expensive roster, and it clearly didn't work. So I don't mind them sort of like taking a step back, scouting some talent, maybe letting Redux play some Duelist, trying to find a new up-and-coming IGL potentially. You know, finding some pieces that are going to work together for the next 3 or 4 years. Seems like a decent idea for them. But I could be totally wrong. They might just be like, they might have their eye on somebody else. They might be making some other big moves. And Zekken, maybe it was just not in their plans.
So aware that someone might be hanging out in line, and the last couple of rounds they haven't exactly executed off of the Owl drone, and so there is a bit of question and doubt. But once that Resurrect comes online, it should be pretty obvious where Winthrop University are.
And so
yeah, I mean, it's just total speculation. I have no idea.
Glyph is not going to stick around for this, as sees the issue is too pertinent. Ali getting that opening kill onto the back. That's so impressive. Alvin Boy, I mean, his util is gone. B-side is free, and TSM have to turn away. And Glyph is still holding off the cutoff in mid.
I'm just saying, Tenrek, that was the barrier orb wall up in window, being able to find that cheeky little kill, and it's so impactful every round.
The res as well, Ali just huge dividends with.
I mean, they have to save. This round is over.
Is back to the market and can find the first frag, so TSM gonna try and blunderbuss their way through. Have a big presence, and Timo, wow, peeking out. Able to find
What are they doing?
Woo, yeah, see? That operator, that's all you need. And TSM will clear the way.
Why is everybody peeking?
Oh, another Timotino round. Just put that sniper rifle in his hand, no matter. Doesn't even matter if you're close by. Doesn't matter. That operator.
Not the best post plant from Winthrop. But 5-0, 5-1. They're still in a pretty good spot.
I think so far, TSM have been doing an excellent job at keeping the flankers in check, whether or not that's Governor, whether or not that has been moves. And Winthrop University, like the core of it has been extremely consistent at trying to hold that post plant.
We've got our first Masters in South America. I would expect a bunch of the South American teams to really go for it, kind of like we saw with the French teams, with the Paris champs.
If you give them the opportunity. So a very needed first round for TSM.
Sadak and Les teaming up again, supposedly. Some of the rosters that I'm hearing about in North America are very good. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens.
Oops. Gonna start fighting for the mid presence now with the help of the drone instead of this Beeler.
Whoops.
Catching some different prey after Infiltrator goes for the TP. Shock Dart will help escort moves a little bit forward, but again, so noisy from the Eagles. You got to give a couple more people to it in order for it to make any headway, especially in the 4v5. Gimon gonna spook him a little bit with the smoke being thrown, but WU again unfettered, just hopping their way into the B site. Again, less Cypher until the breakthrough thanks to the market presence, but the cage is still gonna let GMD get a proper vantage and a free kill onto the Ditto. Now 3v5 is Winthrop. Yeah, this is a bit of an uncomfortable space maker this time. You got to use the barrier orb to guarantee that next space, and Alvin Boy, staunch as ever. Great stuff. So Winthrop gotta try and recondense the fight. And TSM does get a little greedy, but very confident. And that will persist. 7 and Bora finalize.
Okay.
Give it TSM 2.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like these rounds where we get to see TSM just kind of play more defensively.
Which teams do you think don't need rebuilding at all? Which teams must rebuild? I mean, are we talking about in the entire world? Do I have to go team by team? Can you give me a region at least?
One step ahead of TSM, and this time around it just comes down.
They're gonna bring back Harbor Viper. I mean, maybe. You never know. I think that was more of a fraud thing, but maybe Sadak will bring it back.
For Winthrop University, giving that very key information makes it a much more doable round. So that was once again we're starting to see the stabilization come through from TSM. They know that they're not just gonna let Winthrop University walk away for free.
Okay, good trade by Timotino.
Is killed at Timotino with the refrag, and GMD here to help. recycle the smoke.
Oh.
That's a little unfortunate. They were trying to give that away so that you sell the stack, but I mean, everyone's here anyway. So, and there's Wkin. Ali alone with this spike on the market perch.
Holy.
Oh, Alvin!
That was so fast.
Come on now, give him another. Whoa.
Jesus.
Okay, TSM is here to play, folks.
took a couple of rounds.
This guy's gonna end up in tier 1 very soon. Probably in China.
Just Alvin boy hanging out in the back here, stepping out, finding a headshot, finding a couple, and then just
One of these Chinese teams is gonna pay a lot of money to this guy.
That looked a little bit scattered, if I'm being honest with you. That time around, it didn't feel like there was
APAC.
really any cohesive
So the teams that I don't think really need to make any moves are DRX.
of utility to kind of clear through there. I mean, I guess it is just a pistol round, but what they're giving up is momentum.
PaperX.
And TSM right now are really starting to heat up. All of their individual players are really slowly getting that momentum behind them.
Probably RRQ.
That's where things will start to look really dangerous for Winthrop.
Yeah, probably those 3 teams
The
are
problem
fine.
Here, off the bat, then the momentum will very quickly swing TSM's way. We've seen that all it takes is just one player from TSM to really get the ball rolling.
Nice timeout by MBS. They immediately turned the game around when he called it. It's my goat.
Governor have life rounds. We've seen Moves have life rounds. We've seen Blith have so many life rounds.
Oh yeah.
Anybody on this team has the capability to kind of pull one out, but unfortunately, it feels like a lot of the other bits of the round, as you said, there's just a little too much static involved, and you have to be so much more perfect against a team as practiced as TSM.
And when they do come out when they do come out showing that they've got an idea on how they want to play things, like Winthrop University, some of those executions in the earlier parts of this map were absolutely flawless. It was fantastic, just communication back and forth, letting each other know, I need this smoke here, I need this flash here, I'm moving in, I need this support, and it was looking really good. But when those kind of wrenches get tossed into the system a little bit more, it's a little bit less, rehearsed. Then we're really seeing the consistency of TSM just kind of come out on top.
Sucks that Ewok is stepping down. Yeah, I mean,
Will catch the aggression, but,
I assume they'll just promote Warbirds because he was a head coach for 2 years anyway. So I would assume that they will be fine, and they'll have pretty good continuity.
Stop them here, and 7 creating a fun little bit of geometry with the help of that barrier orb against the W key from the tree to make it so much easier.
And honestly, that was just
Riot said that they're allowing minimum of 16-year-old to play in Tier 1 playoff. Is it only on stage 2? I don't know. I didn't read the news. I saw something about it, but I didn't actually see the real story or like a press release about it. So I don't really know where that information is coming from. I would assume it's just because next year they're allowing these challengers teams to qualify for champs, so you have to allow them to have 16-year-olds, since some of the teams would have them in theory. But I don't know. Do you have a link to the news, or is it just like a leaker that says something about that?
Defensive half, the puzzle pieces coming together. And I mean, a 7-5, I don't even think TSM are necessarily satisfied with that, but it's what they're on the path to come away with pretty easily here, if their clock keeps ticking. Moves will beat Timatino in the creep up 1v1, and Timatino had that read like a book so hard. So TSM have got to get a little more proactive. They'll spray through the smoke on the opener for A and get a free kill off of that onto Infiltrator, and Ollie and Moves individually are also sprayed down. So Ollie's just going to have to heal orb himself with how separated Moves is. But the TP over from Glyph to the B site with such a short time window has allowed the site to be opened up pretty quickly by the Eagles. Hunter's Fury to intercept though. Vora's going to try and take this now. And after the tap from Glyph, he's caught by ticks of the Hunter's Fury. Vora will find it.
It's a nice pick by Vora.
Completely reset. GMD having enough time to come down the catwalk.
Damn, GMD gets 2? That's crazy.
It's all strung together by T.
Okay, TSM's really turned it around now.
Look to get a little
Is Texture joining Global? Pretty unlikely. Pretty unlikely.
through from Glyph.
In CS, there's no minimum age. I don't honestly know anything about the CS scene, like rule was. I would assume probably there's no rules. There might be some minimum age limit just for like child labor laws or something like that, but I don't know what it is.
Don't know whether or not that was enough information that moves had gotten to guarantee that that was going to be a free site. And you can see there's hesitation on the side of Winthrop University, allowing for that cutoff to be perfectly executed by TSM.
Oh, he pre-aimed the wrong spot.
Infiltrator goes down right off rip.
Doesn't matter who TSM's facing, you always gotta wonder when Timo is gonna enter God mode. As soon as I say that, he whiffs his shot against moves. Ah, dang it. Whatever. He'll get another chance. He's gonna get reset by Bora. They can shuffle up their positions, do another tango, get their way to 6-5 pretty easily here. Winthrop, they're gonna continue to have to pound on the door. They're gonna have to continue to give themselves away. So the dueling means so much.
Please don't let Yujitan jail him. I don't have any say about anything right now. So I would assume that Yujitan will still be on global, but I don't know. I don't know anything about 2026. I won't lie. I was a little worried when Gen G released their entire roster. I was like, oh, they're coming for my boy. Gen G's coming for my boy. But then they re-signed everybody. But I don't know if they're re-signing Texture, so I don't know. Yeah, this is playoffs.
Second checkpoint set up after the step, so GMD can get ahead. He circle close quarters too. Take the same page out of the book. Now Alvin Boy will just win it on his own.
Wow, that was insane. But Timotino heated up now, operator in hand. That was crazy. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, yes, I'm still with global, but I don't know what's going on for next year yet.
Sniper rifle alone able to keep the entirety of Winthrop University.
Still don't know what's going on.
They realize what's kind of going on here, but just dipping back a little bit more, a little bit here, find a couple of kills, walk away, reset, and then leave 7 to find a couple of cheeky kills as well. I mean, once again, just TSM, the individual prowess coming out from these players. Sometimes you just simply cannot be stopped. That jet with the operator is dangerous as ever.
TSM have still greater tools. Infiltrator having to use his dimensional drift to try and get a side swipe with this stinger. Timotino remains confident. Just full tanks of blind. And we'll get rewarded. How did he miss that? Wow, okay.
Not entirely sure why the Yoru teleported out.
That was gonna be a hit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That
it looked like the
so
crossover was
clean.
there.
Yeah. Well, he'll get healed back up to at least 100 effective. And once again, chauffeured into a proper position. He might have wanted to get raised by that. Potentially unfortunate, but 7 is going to take the full bearing with this Odin.
I feel like 7's been playing really well for TSM this year.
Okay, there's the dimensional drift. And so they'll have to double up on the peaks. Exit out from the cubby will quickly kill GMD, and 7, yeah, will get swarmed eventually. Timotino, world on his shoulders with these knives in his...
I will say, I think NBS has the right idea with this Sage. Like, in a Yoru meta, I think the Sage is very smart. Because every time he goes into Dimensional Drift, you just drop a slow, or a wall, or both, and then the Yoru ult gets completely wasted. Or he has to like force a 1v1 play or 1v2 play on site.
These last 2 rounds, but twin streaks take us to 6-6.
You got me there, Tenric. You got me there.
I'm not going to speculate about any roster stuff.
Is gonna love that one.
Oh yeah, I can hear it already. He's gonna be using that for the rest of the tournament. But yeah, like you said, I think positionally, a little bit of a blunder coming through from TSM. I would have loved to see 7 get a little bit more impact. We've seen how deadly some of these Odin sprays can be, and especially with everything that was kind of going on. I think the big thing was, honestly, just Timotino missing that first sniper rifle shot into Infiltrator. And then that allows Infiltrator to be alive in the midst of all of this chaos. And with that operator, I mean, Infiltrator is no one to sneeze at either. Obviously, there's a lot of praise going towards Timotino for just being absolutely insane. But if you know Infiltrator, he's more than capable of just running in there and handling things himself, especially in some of those more chaotic situations. Now, we go to the halftime, 6-6. I'm gonna lie to you, thought this would have been a little bit more one-sided.
Who are the coaches of Winthrop?
Once again, that Winthrop heat up, the practice, the studying that has gone into this is still keeping them in check.
Well, the conversation, I think, once again,
Mikol and King Fred.
How the Cypher pick, switching
That's
over from
right.
his attack primarily got him a little bit more ability with the cam. Unfortunately, tough to get his feet off the ground for a majority of that half. But now you switch back to that defense, you wonder how he's going to be able to shift his presence with this universal util on the Cypher as opposed to the Vice on, I assume, more often than not the B site. Obviously his lurking has been kind of heads or tails. There's been times where he's just walked bare bones up to Timotino and dipped him without taking a crumb of health, and there's been other times where he's dead within the first 2 seconds of the round. So a lot of the conversation probably about that fifth prong that is moves, where he's going to end up a lot of these rounds.
Yeah, and not to be like that, but I'd be so curious to see kind of that like first blood ratio that Moves kind of has there, because
Their chemistry professor.
Really I think that Moves has had a very stellar performance when it comes to the Ascension tournament.
Like I said, Samra, I'm not gonna speculate about any roster stuff. It's not a good question for you to be asking. That's why I'm not answering it.
Be a little bit more stable on this defense. That is just one less thing I guess Winthrop University can really worry about. Another player too that was kind of highlighted, Governor, also very lurky, also very, ready to take the back line, ready to take those battles himself, but hasn't been doing too successfully thus far in this map. But once we swap over to defense, there is a lot more opportunity to just kind of play that more grounded game, just rely on some of those raw aim mechanics, and hopefully stop the flood here, because it's going to be TSM. Based on the pings on the map, it's going to be...
Okay, 6-6, Timotino and Infiltrator doing some heavy work for their teams.
How quickly the Tendrils could get back to support whatever's on the B side. And the answer is pretty damn quickly, thanks to Infiltrator's TP and Glyph's immediate step back.
Oh.
Infiltrator stepped forward.
Big trade, though.
Big old group gives Infiltrator a bear hug. That's worth a 1-for-1 trade. 7 having a self-heal as the Swarm will make their way through the market. That Paranoia is going to do quite a bit in it. Having a counter Paranoia and they'll extend it to the back. Ollie caught off guard. Nice dink on a Timo, though. Another 7 by the looks of it. Glyph re-steps out into the smoke. Plays keep away and moves on the back stab. This is where he shines. No! Timo wins after...
Look at the pivot to A. That's kind of nice. Then they've got the Cypher super, super late. Oh, he was asleep. Looking at his minimap, maybe?
To potentially pull this one back.
Both of these lurking Cyphers just not matching up when it came to the raw pistol shots. It gives both of these teams an extra inch, an extra chance. But the clock is running dry for WU, and they're still so far out. Governor having this recon, having this shock dart, could again box out or even kill 7 early, but Timotino watching.
Damn, that's sharp.
So damn clean. Glyph has got to go for the drop to condense, and he'll immediately get met by a pot shot on the drop. 7 can wait to peek this and make things so
nicely done.
for TSM. They'll take the pistol and
Nicely done by TSM.
Yeah, a great pathing round from TSM there. Like, you see the pathing, they go through middle, they go into the back of B, and then immediately just kind of rush their way out into the spawn, catching so many people off guard. It's just so strange to see kind of that push through come through from TSM, and that honestly grants them so much room on the site. They've more or less isolated the players on Winthrop University into 2 corners, and then as soon as that pick on a moves comes through, it's like, oh yeah, this is so obvious where we're going to end up. We've got more than enough time. We've stalled them out. It was just a well thought out execution coming through.
Timotino is definitely, he has potential to be like one of the best duelists in the world from what I've seen so far. He's like so consistently strong.
Make sure that moves can't get too comfortable starting to take those plant positions, and for that matter, neither can Glyph, because he loves sitting in those cubbies. He loves hanging out in wine.
This triple stack is going to be tough for Infiltrator to deal with here. And Governor not even aware of it either.
Those quarters owl drone, but there's too much in front of it, so Infiltrator opts not to peek it. And will instead take a shock dart to the face. That'll eat the healing orb from Ali.
And ironically, it was really just the owl drone coming through from TSM that gave that position away, gave Infiltrator another chance at life, because if TSM decided to push in there, they would have found a free kill onto the Ori.
Yeah, potentially a free side off of it, but WU have to maintain the presence on the A side. The TSM have chased them down to.
They ran into a stack, doesn't really matter. Goodbye with all the Spectres, 3 Spectres. Very strong
the last bit of butter to meet this
on the attack.
as TSM will just just negate every possibility of Ollie not having to make noise. Attempt number 2 at the jump. There you go.
Gets it. Yeah.
Question is, who do you have greed this? Obviously, I think 7 is the answer. He's going to get the spike drop. Okay, Bora will get the kill. So 7's going to be 1 orb away from the res.
Yeah, and once again, just another great understanding of how TSM are going. Like, you take a look at the map throughout some of these rounds. As soon as they get a little bit of information, they fall back onto another protocol. They know exactly what they want to do. They rush in and clean things up. Obviously, this time, the gun diff really just making a very clear statement there, because obviously, if you know the way
18 to 9.
kind of hop down with pistols, you're gonna outshoot
Beast
them with
mode.
SMGs. But still, the fact that TSM were able to go so deep kind of goes back into the strategy book, and honestly, just Bora's calling thus far.
Okay,
Doing
A
a
open.
job reading this defense, which has resulted in TSM finding these 2 rounds. But Winthrop University, they've now got the buy up here. Timotino, though, still has a Phantom in hand.
Deposit the Omen into wine.
This map has been going for Timotino. You know that this is still going to be a point of pressure. This is not a free round for Winthrop.
No reaction from Winthrop. So Cypher is just going to say, hey, nothing happening, nothing middle. They re-cleared B. They saw nothing. Now what do we do?
I mean, he's been onto something consistently with those drops. So
They're going to smoke middle to sort of sell that they were just leaving B and they're coming across into Cat. Or maybe pushing through the mid smoke.
so close to this.
Sort of baits Winthrop into re-clearing main.
Yeah, that TP's so
Yeah, it kind of does bait them, actually.
Definitely thought he could probably walk away
This
with
is
a little
nice.
more here. Governor,
The
though,
smoke middle created pressure
gonna be big information for Alpha.
that they could be crossing middle into tree, which makes Winthrop think that they have to take back main control.
Liv caught out by this owl drone. Oh, Alvin boy moves. Has found the position. Plants his feet. Flips this back, and now they can go for their own crunch.
Who in Winthrop do I think is good enough to get trials for tier 1?
Nice ricochet. That's so much time wasted for Governor to have to stay back. Glyph on 4 HP. On the other side of this drop, and he gets distracted by the recon.
I mean, Glyph is an IGL, but
Life round, but 7
I feel like that's not necessarily something that America's teams are looking for.
carry that bonus away.
And you gotta be
Um,
impressed with TSM as soon as that spike goes down, right? Because you look at them, they are just
Maybe
go into their
Infiltrator.
positions, and
I
they're
know
so ready for it.
both of them
They
are
don't really move around once they kind of get their feet
pretty good so
grounded.
far,
And,
from what
it's
I've
just
seen.
using that stall
But
utility, exactly like you said, pushing things out a
it
little
really
bit
just
more,
kind of depends on
more time, and then it's just
the
easy
needs
to
of
go
tier
around
1
the site.
in the region.
Vora with the recon dart just kinda
I don't really know what the needs of tier 1 are in Americas. I guess there's like a bunch of
from TSM, and this is
low-level
what
Latin American
also
teams
really
that
shining
need
between
players.
These characters is Timotino gets tagged up here, but once again, Winthrop University back onto the save round yet again. Moves going exploring though, looking for something cheeky.
Oh, after Timotino holds that orb without any control or coverage, and the slow orb walls away the rest. A fantastic start that does require quite a bit of commitment from WU, but there's no lurker for TSM this round, so they don't get punished for it. Instead, Tim will just get rezzed, and we'll start this over again.
I was just about to say, given the fact that 7 has that Resurrect online, you know, sure, it was a little bit different, but no worries whatsoever. Back to
Yeah,
the whole 5-man squad.
like I said,
At this point, Winthrop
I
University
thought
well aware of
it was
where
more so
they're
that
going.
TSM was just kind of asleep. They like were not reacting fast at all to the things that
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Winthrop
at
was
this point,
doing.
Winthrop University,
And now they're actually playing.
Oh, Recon catching Vora, and he's a bit alone. WU trying to go.
They're
for
actually
the
like
but they can't make
playing
it.
the
Vora
game.
with the shock dart is gonna keep them away.
And I would just expect TSM to be kind of at a different level than Winthrop when it comes to like actual macro and coordination, just because
Waiting, and he's been smoked out already by the door.
they're just a better team. Or they should be a better team anyway.
Yeah, they'll just strike that back. Surely no commitment mid-plant, right? No, they're gonna wait it out. Oh, Governor's just gonna take a free shot!
Okay.
Timo! Yeah, no stepping up just yet, my friend.
5v4 onto this retake, but weaponry, not necessarily that good. Not a whole ton of resources, but now they're going to be marching in.
Searching for another freebie. Hunter's Fury will do a lot of stalling, and 7 will do a lot of killing. He's still on top of the barrier.
Kind of
He stayed in this corner of the
I don't know if they needed to burn
straight rounds.
that Hunter's Fury there.
Kills.
But they get the round win, so all good.
Had to summarize a good old TSM round on Ascent so far.
Wonder what happened to Governor. I mean, he's a solid player,
Making a lot of pressure here. Surely they
but
were going to attack
running it down on Neon in tier 2 versus playing like sacrificial duelist for primitive bait in tier 1, or being put on like a million different agents that you're not as comfortable with, slash turning into an initiator, slash doing some IGLing or whatever. I don't know. Like,
on the side of Winthrop University, where they're
I feel like he's been all over the place in terms of his roles since he went to tier 1.
A side wide open. It allows TSM to just walk in so easily to be able to take that site. And on top of that too, like, you know, that time around, I did like what Winthrop did. They chased them down outside of B. They were like, listen, we think they're going for that rotation. Let's get that confirmation. We got nothing to lose. We're just pistols right now. They walk out there, and then Vora just uses some of that utility to keep them at bay, so that all of that information doesn't necessarily result into any kills. The advantage that Winthrop University were looking for is completely lost. Right now, TSM have just been running Winthrop University around the map, and their attack so far has looked flawless, honestly.
How old is Governor? Is he like 23? Something like that?
Swap sides. TSM have won 10 of the last 11 rounds.
Wow.
So, to maintain the streak here would really set the precedent for
22, okay.
Against the 3 seed of North America. This is what a lot of people wanted to expect out of TSM. This is what I think TSM finished.
Wow, I forgot that he played for Apex this year. That's crazy.
They need to still be at that dominant stage, at least to some degree, on a map as well known as Ascent. This is where they can find their footing.
Yeah, makes sense.
For a reason. They've got to feel comfortable on it despite the switch from Winthrop University. But Infiltrator has held close for quite some time with this operator and will actually get a pick off of it after TPing out of the logs for free. TSM's timing a little bit off, but Ali punished for that barrier extension.
Yeah. You hear him wall up. There's no reason for him to be walling up. Oh, there's no reason for him to be placing a wall unless he's walling up. So, good read by Timotino.
By 7, giving away that operator, and he takes the weaker angle that's been not smoked out. Timotino came.
Oh! Gun switch? Did he not have... Did he have no shots left in his shorty?
He's giving himself away noise-wise.
Or he just fat-fingered it?
Tapping that spike and just holding the position.
Ooh, nice clutch by Glyph.
Winthrop University, stop the bleeding for now.
Yeah, they're finally able to get around here, and honestly, it's looking like these sides have completely swapped, and I know that's exactly kind of what happened, but Winthrop having the massive lead at the start of the round, start of the map, sorry, and then suddenly TSM start to pull their way back in. It was looking so TSM heavy dominant here, and now we're seeing a lot of that trap setup come to full fruition. The one thing that I think kind of slipped through the cracks was Timotino, but in the end, Winthrop University are still able to walk away with the round. Obviously, the economy is stretched a little bit thin here, but they're able to walk away to get all the weaponry needed. But that is the trap that they consistently wanted to spring onto that B site. The issue was TSM were
back to the A open.
In B site, and so that just allowed them to completely circumvent it up until that round.
You're now having to eye that real estate again. My camera is destroyed. Or at least sell that they're doing so. Alvin Boy gonna take up that responsibility. And check out where Glyph has gone. Huh. Weird. No doubt that drone's gonna catch him, right? Or is going to check it. Yep. Okay. And
ooh, well.
Smokes his way out, and he faked TPs out of line. 7 with the red, so it's still a 5v5. But are they gonna?
That was a little weird.
No, feels like they're just gonna double out. They don't want to take that chance.
Uh-oh, TSM might be in trouble this round. They have no A main control. They have no B main control. 50 seconds. They're exploring middle. They're gonna get scanned.
TSM, whenever they get a little bit of noise, they immediately decide to just back things out. They know that it's not in their favor. They'd rather not play Winthrop University's game, so it will be another avenue.
Okay, if they're gonna hold A main, we're gonna go ahead and split through tree. They're faking the A, but they haven't actually pushed anybody off the lines. This is a bad round from TSM. They haven't done anything really on the map. Now they're just going to try and force it into the Odin, which... I mean... No way they lose this. No way Winthrop loses this, right? Oh my god, they just got steamrolled on site. That first death from Governor is really bad.
That's an insane juke out from TSM.
They should never be losing this round.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's tough from Winthrop. They should not be losing that round.
TSM players is they've got the individual prowess, they've got the individual skill to kind of pull things forwards. And something that I've been noticing on quite a few of these rounds is, you know, we see the flashy plays, we see, you know, a couple of players go for crazy things, but then what you don't notice is kind of the backline just walking in nice and confidently, cleaning everything up while all of the attention is kind of focused on those flashier players. It's that consistent.
Yeah, he needed to just hold and mow them down when they come downstairs.
Some of the plays that you don't necessarily
Swinging out with the Odin there was pretty round losing.
Honestly, this is looking like it's more and more over as Timo finds moves right off rip. And yeah, there's nothing to be gained there for Governor, who has to just kind of back off or play his life to try and find a cheeky kill before eventually the TSM storm will hit.
Looks like they thought they were going to force up and try something aggressive here.
In these eco rounds, and Halfin Boy's going to stick around for alert number 2. Governor gets caught. Yeah, might as well. Just make your way to 12. Winthrop's minds may already be on Abyss.
Oh, not like this. I mean, Glyph, though, still alive in the midst of all of this, and TSM, very patient. That's one thing that I really have to commend their attack with. They're extremely patient, wait for those opportunities for Winthrop University.
I think Governor did tailed himself, yeah.
Find him here, there, or everywhere. The storm now flying in on Glyph.
Oh, Timotino trying to post
Oh.
guys. You're a little too far away for that, and so is Glyph for a second. So, it's a little bit dicey, but we'll make it work.
I think that was a total of 4 shorty bullets trying to hit Glyph from long distance, and so
long.
bringing him down. Yeah, bringing him down to like 5 HP, and then yeah, just the proper rifle spray coming through, and you know, they're just kind of like, all right, come on guys, let's clean this up here. But yeah, it's honestly just TSM waiting for all of this aggressive defense coming through from the side of Winthrop University. And sure, Moobs is the easy one to kind of point to as being that person who gets caught off guard pretty often, but I do think that Winthrop University, they're all kind of doing it. They're hoping to find that first duel, first kill to try and snowball the rest of their way forwards. The only issue is the rounds where they found those first kill, well, if being honest, 7 is usually gonna resurrect, and 7 is only 1 away from having that ultimate back online. 7 has been on.
It's really interesting how many teams are playing the Sage now.
Value out of this Sage. And Ali, unfortunately, has not been able to kind of meet that pace at this stage. Been more silly mode for him on the attack, and then defense, the barrier, you'll see so much responsibility placed on him to kind of solo the front line for A site. And yeah, Seven's just responded to that with the Odin. Oh, Ali, yeah, take the initiative again. Getting in front. Yeah. Oh, and GMD just punishes TSM, just finding all the easy picks and still have plenty of time.
Ooh, should have got that kill.
It feels like another shot he totally should have hit. But whatever. 7. Hey, his own silly barrier play. He wants to get in on the fun too.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Oh man, I feel like it's almost at this point, whoever's doing the silly barrier play is gonna win the round.
Feels pretty pivotal, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, Governor.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like Cypher is useless on this map these days. It's like he's decent at being counter up, but I feel like Cypher's pretty useless.
And so TSM come from a 0-5 deficit to a 13-7.
Yeah, everyone's all on the Sage.
A very sudden shift in momentum that TSM looked to carry into the winners.
All right, nicely done, TSM.
These players really started to heat up. It seemed like there was just no stopping TSM. Period. Timotino kind of being that first person to find all those necessary kills, find the crazy moments there, and honestly inspiring the rest of the team to follow suit. And then we just see an unbelievable amount of prowess come through from 7, and honestly all the rest of the team. Honestly, I want to give the biggest shout out right now to Vora, because I think Vora was just calling this game immaculately. It always felt like TSM were one step ahead of Winthrop University once the wheels started clicking. And Glyph had a pop off first couple of rounds there, but unfortunately it gets silenced out as TSM, they win their map pick pretty dominantly by the end.
Yeah, great to see. Great to see the TSM fans show out in the Sao Paulo arena as well. They've been building out quite the fan base. Could show well going forward in the tournament. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it's map 2, Abyss, Winthrop's pick, coming soon.
You like Cypher for solo Senti? I still think I would prefer Killjoy on this map, honestly. That was a nice play. I don't like Killjoy on many maps, but I still kind of like Killjoy on this map over the Cypher. But I think people feel like they can play attack better with the Cypher. And they can like counter the op a little bit better maybe.
Game changers. It's about competition, pure happiness. It's like a crazy experience. We're making history. It means so much to us. It's good to be back.
I guess in what I've been looking for success.
The beauty of gaming is it doesn't matter who you are. And as long as I'm good enough,
Everybody's getting a 4K.
I can go as far as I want.
That's what I like to see, baby.
Deadlock feels better than Cypher? Definitely not. I mean, you have to be able to deal with the op. So if you're going to play a 4-1 and you don't have some way to like check for the op in middle, you're going to get absolutely farmed by a good opper. And so that's why Killjoy and Cypher is super important. And like Vice to some lesser extent, but the camera and the turret are like super important to being able to play a 4-1 correctly. Which is why most teams play both. Or most teams play one of those two. The Cypher, I mean, I guess this is old patch, so Cypher hasn't been nerfed yet, but even still, I kind of feel like Killjoy's better. Do I plan on watching GC? I'll probably watch, like, GC champs, yeah. I'm not going to watch, like, the qualifications, I don't think, but I'll definitely watch GC champs because there's actually several players that I've worked with that are going to be at champs, so yeah.
Exactly what Core needs to do. And then there was trust into Aya.
Heading into the very first map of the series, Ascent. Questions about Winthrop picking the attack side. They do a strong job at first, but then TSM wake up a little bit, get familiar with the stage. I don't know. Lightning in a bottle. TSM just go crazy. And from there, Dan, able to close out a very strong first map of the series. I mean, it seemed like once TSM warmed up, they really could just do no wrong. Like, this was just impeccable form coming through.
They really, once they warmed up, they really warmed up. There was nothing else that you can do against TSM. And it is incredible to think about the way that this map started for Winthrop University with this 5-0 lead on the attack side. It almost felt like no matter what, they already had enough rounds going into defense. With this change in the composition that we talked about, with TSM, they were just so good, whether it was anchoring the side to Oven Boy, as you get to see in this replay, or it was finding those openings.
Deadlock feels bad on attack, but defense, he's way better than Cypher for holding delay. Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, I think that's why we're seeing a lot of Sage, is because Sage is basically Deadlock, but you can also do the wall boost on B. Like, they essentially do the exact same thing on defense, but on attack, you get the wall boost, and your res can be really good against a bunch of oppers. So I think the Sage makes more sense than the Deadlock does, honestly. We're basically just seeing like the Deadlock Deadlock Cypher meta,
we asked for.
except it's just with a Sage.
Not just the talent for Winthrop University, but the resilience for TSM, their ability to remain locked in no matter how tough of starts that that happen to them. But I feel like when you have this bad hack on the defense side Descent, guys, it's easy to kind of get unlocked a little bit, right? Because that's supposed to be the hack where you get a lot of rounds. But historically speaking, TSM has shown us time and time again that their attack sides on this map are dangerous. They have an identity, and despite them running a double Sentinel setup, they're very explosive and they're very dynamic with the pacing that they're willing to play this map at, which makes them very unpredictable. And when you have a TSM that is just busting open on these sites, trading out perfectly, perfect setups for Timotino, Seven's kind of doing this thing as well. It's a very, very dangerous recipe for TSM.
I mean, you talk about the double Sentinel. It helps so much when one of those Sentinels is 7. And with the amount of times they had the resurrection, it just kind of...
Still a believer in Vice Lock? Yeah, I mean... Honestly, the main problems with just Sentinels in general, but Vice Deadlock, is that Yoru's in every single map. Yoru and Waylay are the two best duelists right now. So it's just a really, really bad meta for agents that want to, like, trap you and trap you in a choke point. And that's kind of what Vice Lock does. So they kind of get countered by just, like, what everybody's playing. Yeah, also new patch Vice is cheeks.
The fact that Timotino is also popping off with the operator. Again, we saw what DJZN did against Winthrop University. It was kind of the same thing, right? Just slow grind with the operator, get all those picks. That helped so much here for the TSM side. But I feel like, what's crazy is even when you're looking at Alvin Boy, GMD, and Vora, despite them not really having like a lot of stats, it felt like every person came up big on very important rounds. And I feel like that really was kind of the difference maker, on top of the fact that, Seven's having a standout game, Timotino's having an average Timotino game. It makes it a really compelling victory here for TSM.
I mean, when I start to think about things really started to turn in this matchup, the first thing was Alvin Boy and some of these holds over on the B side and just these multi-kills. Alvin was on one. But then the next thing I think about is Timotino and this op. As soon as TSM finally were in the position financially to start getting this op, even just on these retakes, he was crazy. And then, Dan, we get in later parts of the game, and a 7 that just, again, cannot do any wrong. Like, this is, what are they feeding this kid over there?
These were the stars of the show for this map of Ascent. 7 was incredible, and it was just a game plan around these two that worked so well on the defense. When you see 7 being able to wall around tree and constantly forcing the side of Winthrop University on the attack to go and attempt for these extremities that don't work out because 7 is slowing it down. On the other side is going to be Timotino, whether he's going to be wine or main, or both of the players are going to be pushing. And then
losing the info gathering on the flash is like,
there was really no answer.
It really torches her. Like it makes it so hard to justify playing her, because now she's a Sentinel with only one bit of info, which is your wall, and it's like a heavy investment piece of info.
Everything was going exactly the way that TSM wanted to at once they started coming in.
Timotino and 7, the way they were playing was like kind of like Shaq and Kobe, where there's so many set plays that they were doing together, right? Like there's so many plays where it felt like Timotino was getting active and 7's right there kind of just holding his hand. They're doing these plays off each other. They're walling off. They have Timotino playing on the edge of heaven. As soon as he dies, boom, instant res, no hesitation. Like these are all set plays. And the fact that they're doing these things in combination and somehow still finding all of the kills is crazy. And how many reses did 7 get? Like 6, 7 of them? I don't even know how many he got, but it was wild.
There is nothing more dangerous than a Jet and Sage duo, and TSM just proved that in spades on the first map of the series. Now, though, we're heading into Abyss. This is Winthrop University's map pick of choice. But again, looking into this, Roy, this is one that seems quite strong for both the teams. And again, on a day where it looks like TSM can do no wrong, even if this is Winthrop's map pick, there's still worry here.
There's a lot of worries, guys. This is Winthrop University's map pick, but if you're looking statistically on TSM's performance in this last time they played Abyss, they were able to close out 67% of their rounds. That's 7 rounds or 8 rounds. My math is really horrible, but somewhere along those lines, they had a fantastic attack half, and now they're getting to start on that attack half once again. The KO, the double initiator, excuse me, the setup composition that TSM has it looked phenomenal. Seven has looked great on the KO on that map as well. Timotino's looked fantastic on the Jet. They're feeling hot after an insane comeback, a very dominant first map performance, and now they're going on to a half that they're very comfortable. I feel like this is going to be a very hard battle here on Winthrop University's map pick. Hopefully they have game plan very well, because they're going to need to execute very well against TSM to bring this to a third map.
It makes sense still for Winthrop University to go with this map. I mean, we recently saw them 13-0 9C here on Abyss, but they started on the attack side, and this is what Roy's talking about. That attack side for Winthrop University, it was incredible for those 12 rounds, but that's not where they're going to be starting first. TSM, they decide to pick this attack side too. That is really, really strong. This is a team that is coming very confident after that map of Ascent. And once again, as I mentioned, for TSM, if they won that first map, it felt to me that they could close this map of Abyss, but Winthrop University, maybe they can make a statement the way that they did it with 9C.
I mean, for Winthrop University, about shaking off that first map in the series, shaking off the fact they had that lead into TSM to come back, and now heading into the second map, I'm just looking at Timotino back on this Jet, TSM playing with what we've known to see from them. And again, Timotino was just activated on that first map, Roy. So how is Winthrop with this double senti gonna slow him down?
I feel like for me, I'm eyeing moves, guys, on this chamber. I feel like he's been a kind of a big piece for them on that chamber, especially with the operator, especially with the headhunter on a lot of those rounds. He was able to open up so many rounds previously for them.
Abyss feels way better in ranked. I honestly don't know. No, that's not true. I've played it like one time, I think, since the patch. I just have been getting no Abyss when I play. I played Split and Pearl recently, though, which was cool. I haven't played those maps in a long time.
A ton of pulse band utility. So I feel like for TSM on that defensive, when it comes to the defensive side, they're going to need to be very disruptive. Try not to let Winthrop University settle in on those sides, because we've seen how dangerous Winthrop can be in those pulse plants.
I mean, TSM definitely were destructive on the very first map of the series. Up 1 in our very first playoffs map. It's time to see if they can close this out 2-0, or if this is where Winthrop is going to bounce back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Abyss, and to send it to your caster, Marks and Tenric.
Thanks, Sierra. Yeah, TSM one map away from being able to take themselves to the winners finals after a pretty dominant rolling in the finality of the previous map. But Marks, as they just mentioned, Winthrop have a lot of great game plans, especially on this map of Abyss, coming off of a pretty fun 13-0 against 9Z. They'll definitely still have to bring a lot of staunch game planning into this TSM squad that is so well practiced. Luckily, it seems like they're able to set up a very sequential nature to their attack from both sides with their composition, with the double smoke, with the Sage. That
you haven't gotten Split? Yeah, I just played Split for the first time.
WU have a lot of gas in the tank.
I've just been spamming Veto, though, to try and learn the agent.
I do think that they have a lot of gas in their tank, and I do think
So I've just been insta-locking Veto in every game.
A stellar map from them in the Ascension tournament thus far. Once again, this is TSM, and one of the players I'm going to be really watching right now is going to be Moobs. I think that Moobs really has to kind of step it up here if Winthrop University want to make this happen, because a lot of the game plan on Abyss is very dependent on how that chamber performs.
Yeah, very unfortunate performance where he just got so disabled so consistently in those 1-for-1s. He's got to step up his dueling game if he wants WU to get themselves to map 3. Taking a bit of time, making sure that they can go for the full activated crunch, but such a
nice
great
flash.
Out the gate.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like every time I look, 7 is having impact in these rounds.
Every member has their lineups. The only guy to lose his life is Iman for that pistol round.
And wow, yeah, look at the momentum building on the side of TSM. Both these teams walked in with smiles. Both of them were feeling nice and confident, seeing each other just across the stage. And now only TSM are the ones still laughing and having a ball. Of course, this was only round number 1, but even then, it felt very clean from TSM. It felt very decisive. They weren't afraid to just kind of play off these angles, let Winthrop kind of flood in. And Winthrop University just didn't really have an answer for what TSM had set up in their post plant, which felt very true on that previous map. So let's see how this goes. Moob's going to be tested yet again here, as the Headhunter will be taken off the table just for a second, thanks to the KO 0 point.
KO pick from 7 after such a great fragging performance from him on the previous map. You wonder how willing he still is to go for the setups for his friends, like Timatino, and how much he's going to start feeling.
Vito's fun. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to use him on attack. I feel like defense makes a lot of sense, but the attack part, like the attack part, it feels like you should be going in with your team because of the orb. Governor?
I have a lot of really
Okay.
tough thoughts about this particular practice in the game, but I won't expand upon those.
You don't want to challenge anybody's perception on how they want to play Abyss on round 2?
It's just so mean.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the twit longer later. Is that still a thing? I don't even know if that's still a thing, but yeah, can't wait to read that one.
I wonder. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not totally sold that jumping off the map on round 2 is correct.
Like momentum-based teams, right? And I think that a lot of that comes through from some of the more creative plays that we like to see.
I'm definitely not sold that this is the correct way to play this map.
Those crazy walls to enable Ali to get into these positions, but that kind of injects momentum back into Winthrop University, where they can feel more confident about taking some of these fights. And right now, like, all of that confidence just doesn't seem like it's there just quite yet. And meanwhile, TSM, like, they're just playing completely confidently. They know exactly what's going on. This is a very similar look to how they played their attack last time. Wait for Winthrop University to overextend, punish it, and then depending on what information you've got, attack the site that you think is easier.
Yeah. Alvin Boy is taking his time with this mid checkpoint as TSM will start making their way forward. Flashing a Timatino dash and
Yikes.
able to
That's a bonus round.
once again cannot line up his shots.
That's a bonus round. Ooh, Alvin Boy, little troll.
Able to linchpin mid, Alvin Boy will finally get punished.
Maybe.
For that entire stacks rotation. That also lets TSM know that they don't really need to worry too heavy about the flank watch.
Yeah, I do think that there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the throwable trip. Whether it's like playing one side of the map, throwing your trip to the other side of the map, so you don't have to like run to place it, or like throwing. I'll just leak something that I've been doing, because I mean, who knows if I'll ever make a strat like this. But here, let me show you.
So dangerous if let loose. Flies right back into the site there, and you can tell how pivotal this chamber is in moves to try and find a little bit of value right off the rip.
So like
in the best case scenario,
on attack, like throwing the trip from like here to land here or here, or like if you're execing here, throw it to land here. Basically just like pre-throwing it to the flood to counter the flood as you come in with the rest of your team through main.
So things are honestly just firing on all cylinders for this squad at the moment.
I'm saying this now almost because I don't want it to happen, but wouldn't it be insane if the very next time Winthrop went to Abyss after getting a 13-0, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm saying it because I don't want it to, because I love these guys.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm bringing it up now just because.
Let's get that horse out of this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
The elephant's been addressed, and now we can move forward with life.
Personally, I don't think it'll happen, but once again, if Winthrop University can't even kind of get some of these things online, then you know it's totally possible.
Yeah, kind of like a KJ Molly.
Very extended outside of B at this point to get a little bit more information.
I don't totally remember like what the activation time is on it. Like it takes what, like a full second and a half or something before it becomes active. So it's not great. Like if they see it land, then you're probably cooked. But if you're planning on just like scaling into elbow, for example, and you throw it to land in yard, and then it never gets tripped, then you know that yard is clear. So it's like a good way to just like clear an angle, so you don't have to worry about it later.
And yet he'll still be the first one to meet him, right? Ooh, nice shot, Cliff. Hey, you got some stars here. You can toy with this a bit.
Are there any changes in GE roster? Who knows? I don't know.
Anything you can do, I can do better. That's 3 for the Omen.
I don't know.
Oh man, yeah.
And I can't say anything, and I don't know anything.
A lot of the teams that may have faced Winthrop before, they just weren't as prepared coming up against some of the strategies that Winthrop do, especially because they were going for something different here. But at this point, like, TSM, they look well rehearsed, they look well studied. It feels like they've always got their fingers on the
Nah, I
pulse
mean,
for a lot of this. It's honestly not even
we
like
keep
these
getting
flash
spammed
executions
maybe,
that
but
kinda happen on site or anything. They can just very
I don't
quickly
mind
march
answering the
forward,
question every now and
know when to
then.
peek their guns, know that they're going to be swinging off one another and clean house. Like, it's just very textbook coming through from TSM thus far.
Nothing to really write home about. And
The thing about him where it's like
kind of lack of direction, lack of
he's like an okay lurker,
kind of spin
but
this
he's
on
not
their own.
that
Yet
great.
again, 4 rounds in. This is the
I think he's probably better being part of
the timeout right here, and eventually they were able to spin it back.
maybe being part of a default. I mean, I guess he can lurk. But the problem with him lurking is then you don't have the utility destroyer, whatever it's called, interceptor. You don't have interceptor with your exec, and I think using interceptor with your exec is like pretty important on attack. Kind of like with a Rainalier, like right as you pop through the smoke, you throw the interceptor up. Everybody goes in. The other team's trying to counter you till the interceptor eats everything. I don't know.
Their defense is very fragmented.
I think maybe the other way to use it is just to use the interceptor to break enemy utility on the other side of the map. Like when I was playing Split today, the Sage was just like walling middle every round, and so I would just wait for the Sage to wall middle. I'd drop the interceptor, have the interceptor kill the Sage wall while I left and went and did something else. We're not scrimming right now. No scrims are happening currently.
Some of these trap plays, because when it comes just down to the raw aim duel, TSM right now can do no wrong.
Ollie's early slower, if anything, convinces TSM to just press forward, and they're not met by any secondary threat, so they get this A-side for free. That being said, Winthrop University, perhaps they want to play into that with the bevy of resources that they now have at their disposal to purely play for that retake.
This is going to be a tough one to walk into. Not a ton of utility. They do have the resurrect if things go awry, but Winthrop University, they need to start moving fast.
Trader is going to head back from heaven around to the back site.
Who's going to win this game? TSM.
Lineup, Ollie holding it down, able to get the res on the governor as well, so you still have the swarm entering from the back.
For sure. For sure, TSM.
Shot from heaven. TSM lay waste. Vora.
I think there's a pretty big tier gap between these two teams.
Man,
run it back.
Like, oh no. You can see it on their vision. They're like, wow, that was over really fast. And it was over in a snap. Like, at that point, TSM just individually picked off all the members of Winthrop University in a matter of seconds. It's kind of crazy to see if you're just kind of focusing on some of the main site there. But once again, just holding down these long angles, knowing...
Oh, he doubled him. That's why.
Vora found a double, and sure, Vora gets the highlight there, but at the same time, like, all the other players on TSM were individually watching their angles and able to find multi-kills. Like, it's all just coming up good for TSM.
They were still in.
Yeah, Winthrop looks pretty done.
And this time, Winthrop gonna get committal on
yeah, I think Corrode definitely feels good with him. I think Bind feels good with him.
Marks, you know that thing I talked about a couple rounds ago?
Split actually feels really good with him.
Stop it.
I think he's probably going to be better on the smaller maps, to be honest.
It would be insane if we retreated to that again. But let's see how this one goes. At the same time, TSM, like, they're building up their ultimates as well. Timatino using the knives, but has the outlaw, finds a kill onto Glyph, and that just leaves everything up to Governor. And honestly, Alvin Boy has been just doing a fantastic job at outflanking the flankers for Winthrop University. Usually Governor, usually moves. Alvin Boy has kept both of them in check, and honestly, those two players taking so much room onto the map was a main reason we saw the 13-0 from Winthrop University against 9Z.
Yeah, you could tell 9Z was really scared by this point in the game against Winthrop University, kind of giving away a lot of easy corners, kind of exposing themselves a lot more often than a team of that caliber should. You're seeing a couple echoes of that from WU here. As always, they are noisy, They are relatively obvious, but they are consistent more often than not. Moves is not on the board. Governor is not on the board.
Yeah.
Take flight.
And once, like, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but hey, there we go. Moves on the board. You've spoken into existence. Alpha Boy loses that one out, and so that guarantees at least that space on mid. But TSM have already taken that B site.
Yeah, this is as dominant as ever, and the main channel is all TSM really cared about in the end. Hunter's Fury, a little early here from Vora.
Oh, big ulti from Vora. They're all just stuck in the chuck, getting Sova ulted. Yikes.
I'm flabbergasted. I'm at a loss for words right now.
Like, one of the things I really like about Corrode is you can take the angle on B from, like, Cubby, and then you can teleport to backside, or, like, to elbow. You can take another angle, and you can teleport to heaven. So it's like you have, like, a multi-stage kind of fallback plan. And you're not trying to use like a chamber teleport, but you can hold some like annoying angles, eat a piece of utility, teleport out, eat another piece of utility, teleport out, and then be on your third angle and still be on some important line.
Still looking sharp as ever, and this blade has not been dulled a single bit.
Treating every round like 0-0. What you like to see. And just continuous punishment of WU's ideas here. Ollie used this slow up once or twice now, but Moves has not gotten in front of it with a TDF and not been that aggressive before. Timatino will get stuck, and that's the best reflexes we've seen from Moves this entire match, I dare say.
And I think that also comes down to just unconventional positioning.
I mean, Rohit, I genuinely hate this narrative because Patrick has more games of Jet than he does on Neon. He also repeatedly said that he was comfortable playing Yoru. So, yes, we obviously thought about putting him on a Neon. Then Neon got nerfed. We kind of overestimated how big the nerfs were for Neon. But it's not like we were forcing him to play something he didn't want to play. He just wasn't that comfortable on stage. It's as simple as that.
Do it for the legacy.
On the line. This is
it's as simple as that.
Too much ego, too much pride.
Oh, this round could get super North American super quick. 30 seconds. Live. Okay, all right. We're chilling, and we're on the board. So Winthrop University can put a stopper in things. That was some punished aggression by TSM that time around, I will say.
Yes.
And also Infiltrator catching the lurk instead of Moves. So the game plan does have to deepen a little bit, but it can be by Winthrop.
Yeah, and hey, the curse is broken. Woohoo, we're free, ladies.
Triple TB. I mean, SLT is playing essentially that.
When it comes to Winthrop University, one of the big things that had really worked.
SLT was playing Chamber Jet Yoru on Sunset, and they've been owning people with it in Pacific Ascension.
Was unexpected that allowed TSM to just kind of slip, especially as that confidence continues to build, and Winthrop are able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, I also wish the Visa stuff didn't happen.
I'm not necessarily sure about that one, but still, this is a much better start than what we've seen on the previous rounds.
Y'all ready? A little bit extra intimidation.
This keeps throwing me off. I'm not used to seeing the door here. I've played quite a bit of Abyss on the new patch. So every time I look at this corner, I'm not expecting the door to be here now.
Until that intel's fully given, because that TP can come through pretty quick. It's got to be red soon here. The barrier orb is luckily going to force TSM to make the call to either give Ollie a free glimpse or give the stack away a tad bit early.
This choke has been so dangerous. On top of that too, Governor really close by, has the Hunter's Fury online. A little bit of information might be the call here for Winthrop University, and that could do massive damage.
I mean, I know you're curious, Vinyesh, but continuing to ask questions about the 2026 roster that I just told you I can't answer, it's just not going to get you any answers. What are my thoughts on the new mid on Abyss? I think it's cool. I like it. I think it's a very good change. I don't actually really care that much about the B-side changes, but I think the mid change is great.
And one in front. Vora got the lineup of 4. Blindside will stick him.
Nice flash.
Solos the next. Timo meets it.
Ooh.
On Heaven.
They were not ready for the Heaven.
And Winthrop escapes Brazil swinging. It's 2-7.
Yeah, not a lot of value bought off that Hunter's Fury, but that time around it's just a good, clean retake coming in from Winthrop University.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a stutter step coming through from moves there. You know, let the rest of the squad just kind of move in there. Just play off of those trades.
Yeah.
Hopefully Ellie's able to get one just
I think the mid change just makes the whole map more interesting. Like the way that people move through the map is more interesting.
To walk in, get comfortable in position, and
Because now attack actually has to like take a little bit of a chance to get to B through middle.
from Winthrop University, we know their swings are clean.
Whereas before it was just like you just had to get across this tiny little spot, which was really easy to cross. There's like no risk to it at all.
Let off the leash a little bit too much, but a squad like TSM are gonna keep them honest round after round, and they have to fall back into some of that very rehearsed practice that we've seen during stage 3.
Couple creeps up the different main lines for Winthrop to start this round, and Alvin Boy is going to be able to punish the latter of them, and then meanwhile, B-side is completely unoccupied, so Winthrop have to play for the 4v, never mind, 5v5 retakes. Okay, never mind, 4v5. So the rest of Raleigh will reset the stack all the way to the backside, play from Heaven, play from the library. Smokes are going to be reset. Glyph does have a Cosmic Divide, and Timo is cleared early. So you've got to feel capable taking this back, surely. TSM, yeah, they'll already box themselves out a little bit, but also to give Alvin Boy a little extra time to rotate in silence. Now that Cosmic Divide is set by Glyph, so Winthrop can try and box this away quickly. But in the meantime, Alvin Boy still making his way back. Okay, Governor, nice lineup.
Okay, Winthrop starting to fight back a little bit.
Position to be in. Still can crack Glyph for a third this round before, yeah, Ollie has more than enough of an audience to get the third on the board. The streak is going up the other way on the defensive side. No less, Winthrop are starting to look dangerous here.
Yeah, they're being a lot more disciplined, which is exactly what we really needed to see them there. The retake capacity coming through from this team is extremely good. Sure, there were still a couple of mishaps there. Thankfully, there was a resurrection to even out the numbers a little
Yeah.
bit. But then
I'm not entirely sold on the new B site.
moving in onto this site.
I thought the site was fine. I just thought everybody was dumb and had forgotten how to play defense on it.
Possible. And so, they've now got 3 rounds in a row. Some of the linchpins in this composition starting to heat up a bit. Ali, though, very far forwards.
Yeah, he's been doing this round after
Envy or
round.
TSM, who's my pick?
Well. And this time, I think he'll do exactly
It's
what
close. I think I'm gonna go with TSM just because I think they're a better team. Envy might have slightly better players, potentially, maybe, but I think that TSM's a better team.
Through the main, with him still so alone. I mean, look
I think they've got a better coach. I think their teamwork is better. I think their ideas are better.
Ballsy barrier orb to try and get a free pick off, but he'll duck away after the knives and the guns are popped. But Governor is also here to meet this.
And I also think they know how to beat Envy because they've played against Envy a bunch. Oh. What?
Into Ali's bullet, decapitating Timo. And giving TSM just a 4v5.
That was like perfectly timed recon. Oh my goodness.
Going to be grouping up. Keep in mind as well, Moob's getting set up on the flank here. Trap, though, will give TSM information.
Yeah, delays against the drone and the decoy. GMT with another drop smoke. I love that they're both doing it now. Both shock darts tossed out by Voran in the now. Oh, and then just sprays through the smoke. Yeah, process of elimination. And Ali is the next on the chopping block. Moves is finally
Flank comes in.
And Governor with the re-entry.
Not planted for them. Yeah.
Oh, you got a little something.
Wait, can he spam it?
Has to take the wide swing, and it's guarded by Governor.
Okay, big comeback. Big comeback from Winthrop, actually.
You know, we were really worried that this was going to be a little bit of an easy one for TSM to just kind of win out here. And for a moment there, it really felt like that was going to be the case. But Winthrop University have now risen to the occasion. They are starting to fire back, and they're starting to look really good. I'm still very impressed with how they want to play this retake here. It's been looking good every single time, despite the fact that there are a couple of mishaps happening. This time around, it's all of that pressure from up here. And honestly, Governor, with these recon bolts, has been so deadly. That time around, 2 very impactful pings and leading to kills, meaning that Timotino can't get those knives online. Different look this time from TSM. as they're getting ready to punish any aggression outside of B. Keep that lurker in check, because Moves has started to go a little bit crazy with it.
Yeah, there wasn't necessarily any intel onto this close B stack, but TSM being here to meet it so early may punish, because Infiltrators, again, already on the cliff, already ready to throw that blind side, and we've seen so many teams go for this kind of thing. Oh, but they crunch Moves first, and he catches the sightline on the operator, a second as well, as Infiltrator
What the hell is this round? Nice round by Winthrop.
Winthrop, though, they're able to quickly take care of that round. They get a 5-6.
What do I think about the recent agent nerfs? I mean, I don't love it, but a thing I don't really like that much is I think at first I didn't like how long the cooldown is on the recons and the smokes, but I think maybe the more I play it, the more I think it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine, honestly.
And let's win this round back before it can even get started.
Could GE qualify for an international tournament? I mean, it's certainly possible. Anything is possible.
Honestly, TSM felt like they were just ripping them to shreds. Like you said, 7-5 here, as we have a little bit of an interview.
Anything is possible.
Two more players from CAP, college 8 team from Brazil. Então, mano, primeiramente, Lopes, como é que é ver os caras jogando aí? Saber que você pode chegar aqui também, eventualmente, um dia.
É um sonho, porque a gente, desde o primeiro campeonato que a gente joga universitário mesmo, a gente quer participar da final aqui. Então, jogar o Ascension, então, é uma honra e um sonho.
Well, I asked him, like, how is it to watch these guys playing here? What's the motivation behind it? And he said, of course, it's a dream to play Ascension. And since the first championship that we've been playing, we really wanted to be here. So it's such a dream. It's such an honor to be here as well. E agora eu quero saber aqui do Pedro, que é coach. Como é que é aguentar essa molecada estudando e dando trabalho e jogando e o caramba, mano?
Olha, é bem estressante às vezes, mas no final é muito satisfatório poder ajudar eles tanto no jogo como na faculdade. E é isso.
So I asked him, what is it like to take care of these children, of these students, like at the university playing and studying at the same time? And he said, it's very satisfactory, like it's very good. It's really nice for me to be able
I think
to help them.
one thing that the nerfs do is that they put a little bit of separation between the recon agents and the other initiators. Because the recon agents have objectively the better utility because the recon ability is just so strong. But now you kind of need the other initiators to help you take space, because you can't just use a recon at the beginning of the round to help you take space anymore.
Climb back here on Abyss. Marks, after that 5-round comeback here in the first half, they'll be the ones that can get active. TSM going to be forced to kind of play to their pacing just a tad bit more.
Yeah, and I think, like, TSM, still as cool as ever. They know what's kind of going in front. They didn't expect this to be a free win. The players on Winthrop University starting to heat up. A lot of that teamwork and cohesion finally starting to click. And so, let's see what they've got for us as TSM very aggressive on mid already, which is huge information. But it will be this rush on this B site from Winthrop University that may or may not happen pretty quickly.
Double slow or make sure that the rest can be zoned out quite a bit, and Moves patrolling the flank watch has got the first, and 7 is toyed with him until they've kind of traded equal HP. Infiltrator already taken a high
interesting
ground.
plant spot.
Jump up, and Alvin Boy's setup unfortunately didn't really get to catch anybody in the middle of that, so they're hoping that maybe they can set up a trap on the fight after the fact. But the very orb lets everybody take a bit of a keen angle. Infiltrator, the keenest of them all, and Vor is going to be able to shut that down quite quickly. So now 4v4, but Moves now confidently watching Heaven after the flank has been completely vacated. They can all focus on that front line. No purchase found just yet. Ollie found out by the recon. He's going to get crunched. Paranoia used up on him, and now the double swing on the high-low will take care of him without any debts, but some damage still done.
TSM. TSM and winning pistols. Name a more iconic duo.
Makes it pretty easy for the rest of TSM. Not too much health left between them.
Yeah, I don't love the standardization of stuff. I think it's fine in certain cases to standardize things like the vision, for example, or like how fast the blinds fade, or like I think it's fine to standardize some of the stuns, but I think that if you just standardize every stun and every blind, then you kind of lose a lever of adjusting agents at a micro level to make them like unique and interesting. Also, certain abilities are much easier to hit than others. So like a breach stun, I can understand having a shorter stun because it's super easy to hit. It goes through walls, can hit a bunch of people at once. Meanwhile, an Astra stun is incredibly difficult to hit because all you have to do is step outside of the little star. It's like Astra stun should stun for way longer than a breach stun should.
Yeah, that's so easy now that you have the paranoia on top of it too.
Any thoughts on that one, Tenrek? There it is.
How dare he? He had a chance.
Oh, yeah, you know. That's basically, well, I guess not, because they're on attack. It was just like, oh, they could just die to the spike, and it's like, oh, no, that isn't a thing when you're on attack and on the save here. But once again, Timatino just kind of going crazy. Outlaw in hand, finds 3 kills. But at the same time, like, you could see these protocols being set up. Seven was just around the corner. Stinger as well. So a couple of those shots get missed, or there's a lot more people than they're anticipating. Then Seven's ready to clean up just in case. And it's these little micro adjustments that we've seen from TSM set up these little plays that honestly look so damn good, especially with these players that, once again, are extremely talented in this video game.
Timo on his island with his outlaw. Both shots used, nothing gained. Tailwind expended, mid-handed away. WU not still that confident on it because of Aura's drone.
A little bit of a rotation around here. Keep in mind, Winthrop University, they actually like using Governor as bait. We've seen this time and time again.
Oh, sure,
where,
that's what they say.
Oh, yep, caught me out there. But yeah, I think TSM understand that this is how it's going to happen, so they're ready for this.
This round...
He will sponge a lot of that attention, and so WU is able
round from Winthrop was not great. Their timing between the fake and actually going into B site was kind of weird. They might win this, but the coordination was not great.
And will get a plan on top of it too, so he has the res in case of emergency. Oh, no, not in case of emergency.
Ooh, it's a big duel to lose.
Good thing too, because moves has already been found on the flank.
Oh, they're so fucked here.
Kind of restricts them to one channel of a fight, and TSM gets control which one.
It's kind of nice. Yeah, you gotta smoke yourself. Nice shot.
Infiltrator can't make any headway. Timatino is locked with this outlaw. Now gets a dry peek. Ali holds that down. The close quarters from Seven and
wow, what a retake.
Easy and 10-5 in their direction.
Yeah, Sky's dog and Teo stun. I mean, it makes sense. Although I feel like Teo's stun is very easy to hit and it's really good. And Sky's dog, I can understand why it should be longer because it's much easier to shoot the dog and kill it, so there's a lot of times where there is no stun. I think Astra stun should be longer. I think Sky Dog stun is fine. I think Teo stun should probably be shorter. I think Breach stun should probably be the shortest.
Consistent with pushing together and winning out those gun duels.
Breach stun or yeah, probably Breach stun.
And advance to winners final.
Very few things left in their way. Winthrop gonna try their hand here at mid again. An infiltrator has already been sprayed down so much. Healing room has to be used out the gate. As they'll circle this checkpoint. Seven has a peek, but not the proper shot, so you'll give away one hallway at least. Winthrop might just want to pressure that out so they can guarantee themselves a better stack fight. Yeah, moves after that first shot with the headhunter. Opens up the rest of this. That's a crazy TP back to allow himself immediate coverage of the window. I like that little...
What's my favorite skin line?
Seven's at least able to deal with Ali quickly, so TSM clearing, but... And the flank is everything here for GMD. How many can you get rid of? Infiltrator already so close to this, and GMD has to set up
probably Araxes.
On the other prongs of this. Russian from Timo on top of the smoke, drops down with this outlaw, and Seven will open things up from heaven. Tough timing on the smoke there from Timo as GMD is trying to find his own timing with the flank, but he'll only catch Infiltrator before he's the only one standing. Seven getting hit down. Oh, Governor gonna get pressured quickly. Glyph still suppressed by this null command that Seven's corpse is fading on. GMD, nice fake with the TP on top of the smoke, but still doesn't get the kill. And that may be the final opportunity he had left. Indeed, Glyph is able to silence that and grab a thrifty for Winthrop University, keeping them in this game.
That time around, it's not Winthrop University trying to play for the kills, it's just trying to play to stay alive. And Glyph, right now, has been kind of that anchor for Winthrop University. Obviously making the calls, had a heat-up game last map despite the loss. I'm gonna go lead and yeah, it's this unconventional pathing that catches TSM off by surprise, that allows Winthrop to get into the site, but there's a couple of gaps that just kind of go through. Thankfully, a couple of players still alive from Winthrop. Make sure that that can make its way through. So, they get up to 6, still have 4 rounds to kind of close out here. TSM still kind of rolling things forwards, getting close to a couple of ultimates on their side as well. As Moobs will have this operator. And so far, Moobs has started to heat up as well, winning some of the duels against Timotino. That would be an excellent kill if Moobs is able to lock that down quick.
Would be crucial, but also a tough drop if he loses this duel again. Or if somebody else posts their head out and Timotino gets away with something scot-free and then just hands mid over willingly like TSM has done 1,000 times so far this game. But Winthrop will actually kind of take...
Don't really like either of these comps for Abyss.
Here, it's down to just Moobs.
I mean, the TSM comp is just the standard comp. Just totally standard. The Winthrop comp...
Oh, a lot of moving to it. Oh,
yeah,
he beats him!
wins that one out.
Yeah, I mean...
That's so major.
I don't know if I like...
You have to kind of speed it up. That's another drop.
I don't know if I like the Chamber and the Sage together.
Oh no, he set it up. Of course he did. Again, so much better than Glyph already at what he's been doing. And TSM mow things down on the main site.
I feel like if you're going to play the Chamber or the Sage, you probably need a little bit more, like, aggro potential.
Up with the timing. Timo Shorty instead is going to be able to find it. The TSM, yeah, regains stability kind of quickly here. 2 rounds out from taking this match.
It really just looks like they have all of the opportunities on their side. Like, you know, step out. Oh, perfect timing. The smokes are going down. Everything is fantastic from TSM thus far. And yeah, sure, Moves not able to win that one out. And I think that that's kind of like, you can just feel the pressure mounting onto Winthrop University. They feel like they have to rush in. They have to make this happen. And that just kind of allows Seven to just freely walk around the site and guarantee that round. So second time out being called for Winthrop University, as it's looking closer and closer to TSM taking this series.
Of course, once again, Winthrop would not be out of Ascension if they were to lose this series. They just get sent down to the loser semis, where they'd have to fight against the loser between Team Solid and Envy. So obviously, no tough path, or no easy path here for Winthrop. As, I mean, the remaining 3 opponents in this tournament are arguably the 3 toughest demons for Winthrop University across this entire year. Envy and TSM, the teams that have most consistently been able to defeat them across the entire season. And Team Solid being the team that sort of was able to catch Winthrop on that off day and slip them into that survival match in the Swiss stage. So, a lot of revenge matches that the Eagles are on a warpath towards today. And the demon may be the one that continues to slay in this series as TSM look to have their finger on the pulse more often than not.
Yep. And, you know, like, when it comes down to how Winthrop University have kind of made this run, it's been a lot of, I don't want to call it lack of preparation, but just surprising their opponent. Especially now that we're in kind of like this playoff bracket where so many of these NA teams are, and like you said, Team Solid, the one team that was able to actually take Winthrop down.
Double controller, no Senti. Yeah, I mean,
just their play style.
It can definitely be good.
Kind of novelty of how they've changed things up with this double.
I think it really just depends on what your team is good at.
TSM have adapted to it and are ready to take some of these fights.
Dimensional drift right on top of Timo's body as he holds close with the knives, and he's going to get chased down. This is how Winthrop likes to fare with these dimensional drifts. Just pressure out the solo, and Ali, that Guardian shot is so clean on top of the cloud burst. So once again, Winthrop University, blister onto his side, slightly lesser guns. Be stupid to win 2 thrifties in a row to maintain your survival on this map, but it'd also be so Winthrop University. Infiltrator yet again on Heaven. Nobody peeking for a hot minute here. TSM are ready to full send it down the link. Ali, what advantage! Almost the ace on his lonesome with the help of that barrier. And Alvin Boy has got to clutch things up. Has some time to do it, but is gonna opt to save after
Yeah,
TSM's
just gonna save. Okay.
is starting to run a little shoddy with these spotty rounds. Winthrop is up to 7.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought Viper's decent on this map.
From Ali.
Man.
I just
Ali just on the wall. Tail is on his time on a miss at this
I feel like
just catching everybody off by
the attack value is not quite as good as you would hope. Defense, I think Viper's great. Attack, it's a little bit more questionable.
The amount of prep work, the amount of practice that some of these players have kind of done, specifically Ali, who has just been grinding out this Sage for this tournament. It's unconventional, but it still is going to win you a couple of rounds. The big question is, can they continue to win them the rounds? Because TSM, once again, still very consistent in their playstyle. You slip up once, that's okay. They're going to learn from their mistakes and then make sure that they can pull you back to counter it. I'm going to be honest with you. It looks like lately they've started to become more aware of these walls. That time Ali busts out a new one, but this time you know that TSM are going to be ready for it.
Yeah. They might not even choose to interact with it. If they so choose instead, yeah, they'll start poking it.
Do they have anything to throw in this guy? No.
Thanks to this smoke fork, and moves. He's going to catch him on the rotation. He's
Definitely panicked from Vora. Probably didn't need to peek there.
Looks like he threw an out. They caught the timing.
Big gap being opened up by mid.
Probably could have just chilled. Although they do have the shock from Governor, I guess. Maybe the shock was coming through.
This is going to be as dangerous as ever. They've got to deal with the juggernaut that is Timotino, 7, and GMD if they want to make this work.
Close cutoff. Infiltrator does have one flash left.
Ooh, big duel.
Contacts Timotino, so ready for his plant. GMD drops smoke to catch an extra, but WU's already ahead of it and turns it into a 3v1. Does Alvin Boy even choose to approach this? Infiltrator.
Any plans to visit India? I went to India like 2-3 years ago. 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2 years ago, something like that. What if you play triple controller instead? Probably not. Unless one of your controllers is a clove, I think you are gonna have a hard time on attack.
Relatively speaking, they just gotta dry swing it and hope for the best, and they're able to win out their duels individually against the members of TSM. And yeah, you don't see that too often. And these two teams have kind of faced each other in those gun duels. And yeah, Ali, I was going to say, as a preventative measure, could have gone for that resurrection just to make sure that everything was going to be great. But given the economy on the side of TSM, they're more than happy to just keep Alvin Boy alive, keep that rifle forwards. And yeah, right now, not as many smiles on the side of Winthrop University, but they are slowly pulling themselves up one ladder at a time.
Still certainly a ways to go to survive in this match, but WU look to have enough of a step ladder to make these rounds work. So a timeout called by TSM after it seems like
FPX is triple controller.
Been isolated a little more often than not. Feels like that midweek point has been heat checked maybe 3 times now this half. So
but again, they always had a clove, right? They always had a clove in their triple controller.
Being so obvious with their pre-plans by the looks
I think. Did they? Maybe they played an Omen Astra Viper at some point.
Doing it, that it doesn't matter. Infiltrator, I think, is also so tuned at that. Like he's warm, he's whatever you want him to be at this point. So you can't really slack on that front line anymore.
Either your Clove or your Omen has to be your duelist, basically, in that situation.
That could come your way, and you can tell TSM have slightly adjusted their tempo because of that.
Your Vipers, your Sentinel.
Once again, like Winthrop University, better on the attack by a mile. According to the statistics here. But of course, that also factors in that 12-0 half that they had against 9Z. But even when they faced 6 Karma, they had a very dominant attacking half. So this is really where Winthrop feel comfortable and at home. And of course, that's probably why TSM decided to take the attacking round to get enough rounds so you've got that kind of padding. And don't let Winthrop University kind of get started here. But now we're
Omen Harbor Clove. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy comp. Kind of a crazy comp.
Even on the defense there, they were able to
but I also dig it. On that map, kind of do whatever you want.
As we get closer and closer to the end of this map.
One way or the other.
Omen Astra Clove on Lotus. Yeah, I couldn't remember if they played Viper on that or not. I know they played triple controller on Lotus. And I know there was a Clove for sure, but I couldn't remember if there was a Viper or not.
Kind of play his own little solo quest in the first like 15 seconds on A main. Just seeing what util he can kind of goad out of him. Fake TP out from Infiltrator with no one watching mid, so WU have already sold so much presence. Vora is going to be stuck on this B connector, and TSM is just going to sell the A backline. They'll just get forward. But this could be such an easy pile drive onto just 2 if you have enough on your plate and you check this. You check this. Come on, guys. Okay. Well circled. Well done, boys. Oh, GMD still gets 1. Okay. Now you gotta bum rush it. You don't necessarily know how many people are on this site now already, but it's very likely that TSM...
Do I think over half of Tier 1 teams retain their spot in Tier 1 for 2027? I would say yes. I would say over half to. I'd expect maybe 25% turnover, something like that. Maybe 20.
After the fact to let the other members get chauffeured in. Ali can at least get it res onto Glyph active. Drone's gonna catch Infiltrator and they can, very easily get the hammer dropped on him. Now you can do a lot of stalling here against the spike, and the gravity well is going to force away TSM momentarily.
We'll definitely see some new orgs, but I don't think it's gonna be the majority. I think, first of all, there's a lot of big orgs in the space already. Second of all, I don't think Riot is going to want to necessarily have to like take a chance and relearn how a bunch of new orgs function, because it's always a gamble. Like, if they know that some team is like, well, they're okay, like they're not the best partners, but they're not the worst partners, but they always like do their stuff on time. They don't make our job difficult, whereas like with every new team that you add, it's like kind of a gamble. But definitely some teams will get kicked out for sure. I just don't know who.
Alvin Boy just 1 orb away from having the neural theft available too.
Just once again abandoning mid, assuming that WU is not going to commit to it. And if they do, they'll just take the later checkpoint and bear that burden until they can...
Or Adam has to make it? Yeah, I saw a plat chat talking about that.
Maybe you want to go for an early punish play on the A crunch.
It's tough. They've been consistently good, but just not quite good enough every year.
The latter is probably what they'll have to settle on. WU staying static until TSM gives a member over.
Whoever their general manager is has been doing a great job, though, because every year they put together a team that's capable of making top 2. And the teams have been like almost completely different. I think Midnight has been there for multiple years, but everybody else...
Dude, that's so nasty.
Ooh.
And Timatino alone for a crucial moment. Not shredded fully yet, though. And he'll get out with that operator, but still. The Cosmic Divide bluff for a crucial couple seconds is all Winthrop needs to get the site for free. Hunter's Fury to intercept, though. Ollie's already on top. Alvin Boy with the shorty ready for that. And they need to get this spike down with just 10 seconds to go.
Oh, catch the chamber.
Inside to heaven and negated that immediate presence so they can get the spike down, but with 33 HP to go, he's got to stay proactive on top of the barrier getting burned.
What is Infiltrator doing?
Get rid of his pool. Now back on that rifle, and Glyph is the one that has to rise to the occasion. Now in a 1v3 after taking care of Vora.
Can he isolate anything? Nope.
And Timo is able to find the shot. TSM will get 3 rounds.
Most players end their contract in 2026. There's a lot of 2026 contracts. There's definitely a bunch of 2027 contracts too. Yeah, I mean, Roster Mania will be extra interesting after 2026. But I feel like every year it's been pretty interesting, so I can only get so excited, you know? Like, how much crazier can Roster Mania get?
When they came in onto the site, so ready for every single little angle being held and just walking all over it. It felt a little bit discombobulated, Seven having to use the ult there, but I think that was more than worth it to get yourselves onto map point. Winthrop University do still have guns here, but TSM now look to close this out.
Yeah, here and now. Make sure that WU can't get the ult cycle going again. Infiltrator 2 orbs away from that dimensional drift and off of the flash. Timatino is trapped and caught. Could be an operator on the ground. That infiltrator could kind of take up. They want to play for the A take, but doesn't look like that's what they'll do. Big mid presence from TSM this round as well. Seeing if they can try and catch somebody. But the thing is, WU, I mean, they haven't really had people over here, so.
Yeah, KC is always up to something, man. KC is always up to something.
The information that someone was just on the other side of it. Moves though, able to find Alvin Boy. Still Winthrop University. They're just kind of playing things slow for the time being.
Yeah.
Might be able to actually catch these flankers.
This is so weird. Oh, but
no.
they hear everything instead. 7 hears everything.
Oh my god, this timing from 7. Whoa!
Wow! No. Panic mode for a hot second there. And Vora has already been pre-fired too, almost as if Winthrop are definitely more aware now that they've been caught off guard once. Iman, hanging out in heaven, at least gets away with one. Feels like that's all he'll get away with though. As Winthrop will very certainly take. Feels like maybe a little bit of an overcook again, unfortunately, from TSM.
Yeah, I mean, the DOS 9 makes a little bit more sense. Because at least he's European.
Oh my god, if Infiltrator did not
quote-unquote European.
Kill, it would have, all of the spaghetti would have been on the floor at that point. Like, that is just, oh my goodness. The fact that that goes unchecked as well, Infiltrator could have gone down as well. Like, you see, pulls up the utility, and then 7 just doesn't look the right way. And so that flank being set up by TSM with all of that mid presence gets absolutely no value. Nice little flick to close out the round. Winthrop University now at double digits themselves. 10-12. The first half was very streaky, and now this half is very back and forth.
WU must continue to surge forth if they want a chance at those winners finals. Alvin Boy, once again, steady. But the only long-range buy TSM had this round, and it'll get reversed, or its impact rather, will get reversed by the res. Does take the barrier orb though, crucially. So Winthrop University's setup is going to be far less tasty. Of course, a lot of the setup is happening in T at the moment. Look at Glyph hanging out in the forum.
Spied in time, and this time around, there's no overextensions from TSM. No tricky flanks being put online here. Hear a pin drop in the server. Everyone just waiting for the other team to make a move as the clock slowly ticks down. Winthrop University, though, with the dimensional drift, will now enter in.
Yeah, classically the first to make that noise. Infiltrator has been looking for a target this whole time, and Tim Matino will step out and be that voluntarily. Quickly dealt with. Governor only taking a lick of health. Vora
planted.
daring to press on the books just a tad. Stuck out. Went for it. Finds the intel onto Infiltrator, but we've already hyperextended back to the flank watch where the rest of TSM is hanging. Out of charges. Seems like we're just gonna play for some quick flank picks here. Nothing more.
Way.
Wow, 7 has gotten away with at least 1.
Okay, Winthrop has a chance to win this one. Push it to map 3. That'd be pretty remarkable if they did that.
Oh my.
Yeah, almost got clipped, but we're chill.
Oh.
Hey.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, last round.
I mean,
Last round before OT.
one away from potentially forcing OT. Of course, that still was just a little bit of a bad buy coming through from TSM. This time around, they will have their full arsenal ready to go. But yeah, it's just looking really clean for these engagements from Winthrop University. They look really good on their attack. They always have on this map, and they're just continuing to fly as they want this map number 3 in this series and let the world know that they are not out of this, as TSM are going to be using a timeout here to try and pull back this final round.
A lot to discuss about what you have to potentially be ready for on these set plays that Winthrop have just sitting in the playbook for scenarios exactly like this one. I'm wondering if Timo is gonna try and commit himself very quickly this round, because that feels like it's been a lot of what's decided the mid plants is whether or not he's going to try to stand his ground a la Alvin Boy and try and get some stuff on the way down, or if he's going to play for the retake. Tough debate over the rhythm you have to have against a team like Winthrop when they're playing so close to the clock as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's so funny because like you look at the composition from Winthrop and you're like, oh yeah, these guys will be good on defense, and yet here they are, just flying ahead on their attack. Now they've collected.
Yeah, I've heard that there's some plans to maybe have Russia be classified as APAC, at least like super Eastern Russia. But I don't know if that's ever going to actually happen or not.
A couple of missed shots on this map so far, but Kim was able to turn it up yet again. That could be the final nail in the coffin for Winthrop University in this series.
Yeah. A comeback is very Winthrop University. A fake comeback is also very Winthrop University.
All of the above.
All right, here they go.
Only expect the unexpected with a matchup like this. Winthrop entering on top of the cages.
Oh, they get mowed down. Not like this. 3v2. Not committing to the site.
But TSM, the remainder of their resources have
Yeah,
already
TSM's taking a lot of space.
with these knives. Gonna clear out the B site that they assume Winthrop University have already kind of rotated to. But instead, yeah, they'll give themselves away on the A site here, set up shop. They don't necessarily know how many people are immediately here, so moves, really playing it safe.
Good discipline from GMD. Just holding spawn, making sure they don't get too far forward. Timotino smokes the trip.
That trademark, did he updraft? No, he didn't.
No, he smoked the trip. Now they're going to come through here, make a lot of noise.
And then, the flash out.
Oh, it worked perfectly. Beautiful play. They're just out of range of the smoke. Yeah, they couldn't hear the smoke. And then 7 went, made a bunch of noise. That was nice.
The fact that the trap did not get pinged just completely opened up the backside of Winthrop University there, and TSM was looking sketchy for a second here, but this team is so good right now, and they're
very nice from TSM. They go to the upper finals.
Really strong performances, but on the flip side, Winthrop University, like, you know, they're no slouches either. It was looking like it should have been a very one-sided map, and then overtime was a real possibility for this team. Regardless, though, TSM.
Very cool. All right, guys, I gotta go eat something. I didn't eat lunch. It's 3 o'clock. I'm starving. I'm super low energy, so I'm not gonna watch the next match live. I'm gonna watch it offline. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will VOD review the Velocity game when I wake up tomorrow. But peace. Have a good rest of your